Welcome to another video of Edifu. Today we are going to learn all about the review of literature or literature review. What is a review of literature? What is the importance of literature review in research? What are the qualities of a useful review of literature? In this video, we are going to discuss what is literature, what is literature review, definition of literature review, why literature review important, objectives of literature review, types of literature review, sources of literature, and how to organize literature review. Review of literature is a significant area where almost all researchers put their valued time for construction. In research, the role of the literature review is vital because it is an inevitable part of nearly all paradigms of research. A thorough understanding about the literature review is an essential quality for a researcher for his success in the research documentation process. What is literature review? A collection of body of works done by earlier scientists is technically called literature. Otherwise, a literature review is a comprehensive overview of prior research regarding a specific topic. A literature review analyzes reported research in a specified subject area and often research in a specified subject area over a certain period of time. All types of research start with the review of literature. Through the literature review, it shows the reader what is known about a topic and what is not yet known about a topic, identify area of controversy or debate, and helps to formulate questions that need further research. A literature review can be informative, critical, and useful synthesis of a particular topic. The literature review records the heart of all research. It can provide a concise examination and discussion of evidence in a particular area. Through the literature review, the author should give the readers a clear picture of the subject and its associated range of perspectives and opposing views in the field of the research topic. A literature review is a description of the literature relevant to a particular field or topic. It gives an overview of what has been said, who the key writers are, what are the prevailing theories and hypotheses, what questions are being asked, and what methods and methodologies are appropriate and useful. Literature review mainly forces a writer to educate himself about as much knowledge as possible relating to the selected subject. In a research paper, you use the literature as a foundation and as support for new insight that you contribute. In conducting a literature review, you are forced to think critically and consider the role of arguments in research. A researcher cannot perform significant research without first understanding the literature in the field. Not understanding the prior research clearly puts a researcher at a stage of disadvantage. Now let's check the eminent researchers spell about literature review in different dimensions, because it is very important to understand the review of literature in different dimensions. The literature review is where you identify the theories and previous research which have influenced your choice of the research topic and the methodology you are choosing to adopt. This is by Ridley in 2008. The next one is, it shares with the reader the result of other studies that are closely related to the study being reported. This is by Frankel in 1990. Another one is, it relates a study to the larger, ongoing dialogue in the literature about a topic, filling in gaps and extending prior studies. This is a very famous definition by Marshall. Now, check the another. It provides a framework for establishing the importance of the study by William Dean. One more. A literature review can also facilitate the use of best available evidence in daily practice by supplying answers to research questions. A very famous definition by Brettel in 2003. A well-done literature review includes all the main themes and sub-themes found within the general topic chosen for the study. Literature reviews are also an ideal first step into the world of publishing. The most common and most appropriate source for the literature review of a particular topic are articles found in academic journals and books. However, depending on the research topic chosen, the availability of academic journal articles can differ. Other commonly accepted resources to use are governmental publications and newspaper articles. The literature review needs to identify and discuss or explain all of the main points or findings of a specific topic. In addition, both the classic and the latest studies need to be included to show a detailed understanding of your particular subject. Why literature review important in a research? By reviewing the literature, we will get an idea about the latest developments in the field of our topic, and this will help us to include a piece of consistent information in our research papers or in our thesis. It can connect our objectives to the older segments of literature. Through the process of literature review, we can spot the gaps within the existing body of knowledge relating to our research topic and can explore this research gap in our research process. This will help us to add new facts of information to the existing body of knowledge, and that is the ultimate aim of every researcher. Where is the place of our study in the sphere of knowledge is an essential element of every research process. Through the literature review, we can specify the position of our research in the field of area of knowledge. Knowledge of the author is an essential element while you are preparing a research paper. So, through literature review, it shows the readers that the author possesses a firm understanding of the subject matter. This will obviously increase the credibility and integrity of your research work. By reviewing and reporting the kinds of literature relating to our topic, we will get an idea about the weakness and shortcomings of the prior pieces of literatures. This will help us to identify the research gap and can frame a better and relevant research question for our study. All researchers are built on the foundation of existing knowledge. from where we get the existing knowledge about a specific topic. This is another important aspect of literature review. By reviewing the pieces of literature of an existing area, we will get a basic framework about that topic, and it will help us start our research process. Now, what are the objectives of literature review? The first objective is identify variables relevant to our research topic. With the help of a literature review, a researcher can identify and aware of the constructs and variables in the field of his research topic and familiarize with it. He can also detect the important and unimportant variables for his study. Through a proper review of literature, a researcher can select appropriate variables for his research, and it will help to formulate a researchable problem in his area of study. The next objective is avoidance of repetition. A significant thing a researcher keep in mind is the avoidance of duplication of work. It will impact the credibility and authenticity of the author. With an intensive literature review, this can be avoided in an earlier stage itself. A careful review helps in interpreting an existing knowledge and determine how it is useful for his research work, and that certainly naturally avoiding duplication of work. In theory development process, this is very important. But in theory testing, sometimes this duplication becomes necessary. The next objective is synthesis of prior works. Prior pieces of literature need to synthesize because then only we can align the information in a meaningful chronology. A synthesized piece of studies should help the researcher to align and set relation within his research process. This will allow him to establish a more vital view of future research. By chronologically synthesizing the piece of literature, one can easily identify relevant gaps and overlaps among prior works too. The next objective is determining meaning and relationship among variables. This is a very important thing a researcher keep in touch with. Establishing the relationship between variables is a must for scientific research. Incorporating these relationship with the hypothesis is a critical process in research. Review of literature helps to discover essential variables which are relevant for our study, and we get a clear idea about how these variables are related to. This will help the researcher for formulating hypotheses. These are the different objectives of review of literature in research. It is very important to understand the types of literature review because you need to choose a proper method of literature review for your research process. Commonly, there are 5 types of literature reviews are available: narrative review, descriptive review, scoping review, realist review, and critical review. Now, check one by one. The first one is narrative review. A narrative review is considered as the traditional method of literature review. In the narrative review, we try to give a qualitative review of existing literature. Through a narrative review, we summarize the literature about a topic. To support our research work, here we accumulate and integrate the literature relating to our topic. Here we are gathering a volume of literature about a topic. This will help the researchers to identify the gaps in the literature, and it will help to formulate research questions. In narrative review, the researcher is collecting as much as authentic literatures relating to the study of his topic. Then the researcher can very easily identify the research gap. So, if you want to identify a gap in a literature, the narrative review is the best choice. The next is descriptive review. The primary objective of a descriptive analysis is to evaluate the degree to which a body of information exposes some interpretable patterns or trend with respect to a pre-existing proposals, hypotheses, methodologies, or findings in a particular research topic. So, the process of descriptive review needs a systematic procedure for collecting, classifying, and depicting the literature relating to the research. In descriptive review, the researcher collects specific characteristics of literature such as publication year, research methods, data collection techniques, the outcome of the research, the statistical tools used to produce the outcome, etc. This method is an outcome-oriented analysis of the literature and extract the characteristics of the outcome. Descriptive review is more technical because here we are not just gathering all the literature, but instead we are collecting a specific literature relating to a specific area. The next is scoping review. In a scoping review, the researcher exposing the extent, range, research design, functionality, nature, research activities involved in a particular area of interest, etc. Therefore, the scoping review is more comprehensive compared to narrative and descriptive review. The next type of literature review is realist review. Realist review is a theory-driven and interpretive type of literature review. Through a realist view, the researcher collects all empirical evidence that is eligible in order to answer the research question of his research. It is based on realism, which includes defining the underlying causative mechanism and analyzing how they function under different conditions. The last one is critical review. In order to expose strengths, shortcomings, conflicts, problems, differences, and other significant issues concerning a specific theory or hypothesis or research methods, we need to conduct a critical review. Through the critical review, a researcher tries to assess the credibility of literature through a systematic appraisal using proper tools and techniques. Critical review helps the researcher to inform other scholars about the weakness of prior researches. This will help to strengthen knowledge development by giving focus and direction to studies for further improvement. The source of literature is very important when you conduct a research. So, let us check the source of literature. The very important source of literature are journals and books. Journals and books are considered as the primary source of literature. For a useful literature review, you need to collect classic as well as the latest relevant publications needs to consider. The next source is reviews. Reviews are another source of literature. Reviews are often articles which provide brief information about a particular topic of interest. A researcher can get a concise idea about a subject through reviews. The next is abstracts. Normally, abstract is a must part of every research reports. Abstract summarizes the research report. This is a vital entry to a research topic. Next is doctoral dissertations. Doctoral dissertations are an excellent source of literature. Now, universities and colleges are digitally publishing their doctoral dissertations for references for the public. Next, supervisors or guides or research professors. Experienced supervisors can guide us in the right direction. They are the recognized authority on the topic of the research problem. So, you can use all these sources for collecting the literature of your area of study. Now, we are going to discuss how to organize literature review. This is very important at the stage of documentation. There are different methods of arranging your collected literature for your research work. This will help us to create a clean literature review documentation for your research. Now, let us check different methods of arranging your literature. Commonly, there are 3 methods you can follow for arranging your literature in your research. They are chronological arrangement, the second one thematic arrangement, and the third one methodological arrangement. Now, check one by one. The first one is chronological arrangement. You can arrange your literature reviews based on when they published. This is a very commonly used method of arranging the literature. Here, you need to set from oldest to newest. A researcher can follow chronological arrangements when the research need to establish a series of development concerning the topic under research. The next one is thematic. Instead of progression of time, here the researcher is arranging the literature based on themes or issues. Here the chronology is not applicable. Based on the theme, you can arrange your literature in your document. The next is methodological arrangement. If a researcher is arranging the literature based on the method utilized for research, then the arrangement is called a methodological arrangement. If your research is focused on the methodology of study, then you can make the arrangement of literature on methodological way. So these are the different methods you can follow in arranging the literature in document. So we can conclude that the literature review plays a very significant role in the research process. Literature review forms the foundation for all research process. So it needs special care and attention when you prepare a literature review. How we can write a review of literature is very important. I will discuss the method of writing review of literature in coming videos. I hope this will be helpful for you. If you are a new visitor to my channel, please subscribe my channel and press that bell icon for latest updates. Thank you. See you on next video.